Good morning and welcome to yet another episode of John Works Too Much. Today we are going to change out a couple water heaters. So this one had a problem. Come on in here, I'll show you how this works. So basically a water heater is pretty simple. There's water that comes in, there's usually a shutoff valve. So see, this one has been, this is the old one and this is the new one. And so you gotta have a shutoff valve for your cold water. Then that comes into your cold water inlet. It comes inside, there's a heating element, but in this case it's gas, so it's not. And then it comes back out through the hot, right? And then it distributes throughout your house. So this is a TMP valve, it's a temperature and pressure valve. And so what happens is if there's too much pressure or it gets too hot, then sometimes a water heater could explode. So this pops open, and then it drains out and takes the water outside. Then there's also you can attach a hose to this, and you can drain your water heater to get all the water out, because this is 40 gallons, so it weighs like, a lot. 40 times 8, 320 pounds plus the thing itself, so probably 400 pounds. But you can get it down to less than that. And you got your gas line coming in here. So the gas line, there's a shutoff valve, right? So this is going with the pipe, and if you turn it perpendicular and it goes this way, then it's off. And then we just disconnect this, drain the tank, disconnect this stuff. We've got to turn the water off at the street. And then this is where the exhaust comes up, right? So your gas, when it burns, then it heats up the water, and then it comes up, the heat comes up out through there and then goes out through your roof. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take this all out. Now this doesn't have a pan, so we're gonna put a pan in because you need to have one. And the pan is a backup, right? So in case there's a problem and you get a leak in it, wherever you get a leak in it, then that water would drip and then flood your house, which is what happened to this house. So with a pan, then it will drain that water outside and then it won't flood your house. So that's pretty important. For the record, I'm not a licensed plumber, so don't hate on me, but I'm doing this as a favor for a friend out in county. So I know I've got plumber friends, Steve Lux, Mike Lowry, that are probably gonna criticize me for this, but as a favor for a friend out in county. So that's why I'm able to do this. And I'm sure if you guys want to do this yourself, then I'm just kind of showing you how to do this. So we're gonna do 2 of these today, and we'll knock it out. All right, love you guys, bye. I can only assume that you're watching this on the toilet, so do you need this, or are you guys good? I don't know if you've run out from what you bought for the pandemic. All right, so here's what we did. We put in the new water heater. If you remember, the old one was underwhelming. Here is your cold water. Yeah, you can come on through. Your cold water coming in. We've tied that in. There's the shutoff valve is on. The hot water goes out, right? This is where you're vented out through the roof. This is your TMP valve, your temperature and pressure, so then that'll bleed out, and then we put a pan in, and we got the gas in, and the gas is back on, and that's that. So pretty basic. It's so simple that even an idiot could do it, which is why I'm perfect for the job. All right, we're gonna do another one now. You guys again. Here, come on. So just so that you can see that pretty much most water heaters are all the same, it's basically the same thing. So here's your cold water coming in. There's a shutoff valve that goes into here. We already disconnected it. Then your hot water comes out. This is where your drain or your vent stack is, and this is your TMP valve, right? And then down here, we got gas. We already disconnected this. That comes out and around into this, and then this is your drain. So what we did is we hooked this hose up, and then the hose will run outside, and then we open this nozzle, and then that drains it out. But you want to shut off the water first, because otherwise, it's just going to keep flowing water through, which is pretty stupid. So then once you get water flowing and the water's off, then you break these loose, and I'm trying to think what it's equivalent to. Like, remember, like a can of, I don't know, pineapple juice or tomato juice or whatever, you pop one hole in it, and then you go, and it's just like sucking, like, but then you pop the other hole, and it's got a breather hole, like a carburetor or whatever. You drug addicts will know what I'm talking about as far as carburetor goes. And then that just lets it flow more freely. So this is getting pretty close to empty. Yeah, we're getting there. We're not there yet. But then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hook all this up. So we shut off the valve, the gas here. So this when it's, here's the pipe, and we're perpendicular to the pipe, then that means it's off. And when this is turned, so this going this way, parallel with the pipe, then that means it's on, because it's a ball valve. So that's how that works. Now, I want to take a quick minute, because we have a minute, and tell you guys a wonderful story. This story is about Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Now, a lot of you know this story, and if you do, please stop the thing and move on, scroll on to something else. If you don't, it's a super interesting story. So what happened was, Israel got captured, and they took, and this is a habit of empires, they'll take some of the best and brightest young people, and they'll assimilate them, and then bring their best and brightest young people, and they'll train them and learn from them, right? And they also want all the leaders and the architects and things like, people that are like, hey, we like what your kingdom has, and we want to have those things, and therefore we're going to take your people and we're going to learn from you, because then we're going to be better. And by the way, we win and we own you, so there. And so they took Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, which were Jewish, and they brought them in. And long story short, I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but basically there came a point where the king said, I'm going to make this ginormous statue of myself out of gold, and all the musicians are going to come and they're going to play some hard rock, heavy metal music, because really, look, all music is worship music. It's just, are you worshiping the devil or are you worshiping God? Okay, so just want to throw that out there. Anyways, like, they're going to have, I don't know, AC/DC and Iron Maiden, Metallica and all this, they're going to come out there and play, and when they do, that's not true, when they do, everybody in the kingdom that's at this big party, celebration, whatever, is all going to get down on the knees and they're going to bow down to this statue. And these three guys who are in the king's house are like, man, I can't do this. And so it finally came time, and Metallica's playing their lead to whatever, and the whole nation bows down to this gold statue to worship him as if he's God. And everybody's down, and three guys are standing. 100,000 people down, three guys standing. And the king's like, buddy, we're friends, so like, maybe just bow down. You don't even have to mean it. Just like bow down to the statue. Like, I know that you're Jewish or whatever, but please just, I don't have to kill you. And this is their response, okay? They said, we cannot bow down to this statue. We cannot pretend that this piece of gold that you have made is God, or that you are God, because we worship the one true God. And understand this, God will come and he will rescue us. But even if he does not, I would rather die than do this, because it's wrong. And so, if you must, then kill me. And he's like, please, like, I like you guys. You're in my house, I like you. Don't do this. Just like pretend or whatever. And they're like, know this, O king, that we cannot do this thing. And we're not going to do this. And he's like, oh, I'm so angry right now. And so he gets them to heat up a fire 7 times hotter than it normally is, which is pretty hot. So hot that when the guards came to throw them into the fire, they burned up and died, okay, throwing them into the fire. And so he throws them into the fire like, ha, see, I'm God and everybody's got to worship me. And after a while, somebody looks down, a long while, somebody looks down and goes, there's 3 men, no, there's 4 men walking around inside of the fire, and one of them looks like an angel. And he's like, what? And so there's like a door down underneath, and they open it up and they let him out. And these 3 guys come out, not burned, not black, nothing singed, not even the smell of fire on them. And the king is like, I'm so sorry. My God is not real. I am clearly not God, and your God is real. And the whole country repented because of the miracle that they saw. And so I think that that is a beautiful story. I also think that that is a story that we should learn from, that we need to have the courage to stand up to things that are not right, even when nobody else does. Because when you have the courage to stand up to what is wrong, you give other people permission and you give them the courage to do the same thing. So anyway, we're gonna get this water heater in. I hope you enjoyed our story time. Look it up. All right, bye. So we got the new water heater in, which is, amazing. We hooked this up. That's your cold water coming in, right? Here's your hot water coming out. We hook that up. We turn the valve back on. So that's, amazing. But we put pipe dope on here. And a lot of times I say pipe dope, and then people look at me like I got 3 heads. I'm like, it's not that complicated. Okay, so I'm sure you guys have heard of Teflon tape, right? This stuff is called T+2 or rector seal, but everybody kind of calls it pipe dope. So what you want to do is anything that's got threads, see there's kind of the residue of some Teflon tape there. So you just take this stuff and you put it on here. Now don't eat it. It looks like cake frosting, but it's not. It's got Teflon in there. And what happens is water will want to get through these threads and work its way out and then leak. And we don't want that because, we're selfish people and we want it to have restrictions on its life and all kinds of bad things. So then just take that. Am I going backwards? No, I'm good. Okay, so then that threads in, and we'll want to tighten that up. And then we piped up this, we put this on there, piped up everywhere there's thread. So here, here, and then we tighten it all up. Now the way that you test gas lines, okay, because it's important that you do, because I don't know if you guys know this, but gas is flammable. A lot of people, dumb people, are like, oh man, let's test the gas line with a lighter. That's a good way to die or get burned badly, okay? So don't do that. What you do is you get some water, and then you get like Dawn dish soap or something like that, and then you just apply it to wherever the threads are and turn your gas back on, because the gas, remember the shut-off valve's right here? Turn the gas back on, and then once you do, it's like blowing bubbles, right? So you dip the thing in there and then you blow bubbles and bubbles come out. So it's the same thing. If you put this stuff around there that's got soap on it, which is basically what bubbles are, then it'll start bubbling out if there's a leak. And so you want to test it by doing that and not just be like, oh, well, let's just leave it up to fate. Like that's a pretty important step to do that. So anyway, we're gonna get this thing hooked up, we'll test it, and that's pretty much it. That's how you do a water heater. So I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right. So it has occurred to me that many of you probably don't know how to light a pilot light. So we've got both these water heaters in, everything's hooked up, no water's leaking, no gas is leaking. We tested it with soapy bubbles. See, we have soapy bubbles in here, and we tested it and there's no leaks. So that's amazing. So now that we've done all that, we got water coming in cold, water going out hot, we got the vent out there, we got our gas hooked up, we've tested everything, we've got our pan hooked up. Now we got to light the pilot light. So here's how it goes, okay? Most of these have electronic ignition now. So right here, it says pilot, right? This is off and then pilot, and then low, hot, and very hot, and so on. So what you want to do is you push the pilot in, right? And then look down in here. Then there's this little electronic ignition, you hit it, and see it lights it. So here, come back up here. See, that's the electronic ignition. So when you push that button, that does a little like a spark of electricity that then goes and lights that pilot light. So you got to keep the button pushed in for a minute because it's got to kind of gather its thoughts. And then here, let's pull back. The status light, it says to light pilot, press hold knob in position, press until release the knob when the status light goes. So now it's going. So let's look down there again. And if I let go, it works. And now I'm going to turn it to hot and watch what happens. No, keep it down there. And it lights up, right? So we're going to put it right in the middle somewhere, and that's how that works. So there's just a gas comes in, and then it comes down underneath. There's a regulator, obviously, in the thermostat, and then it lights gas on fire, and that heats up the water, and that's how your water heater works. So that is usually right behind this magical thing here. And then you just, you turn it the correct direction, and then you put it back in, and that's that. So I hope you guys learned something, and I hope that you're having a wonderful day, and I hope that you see you tomorrow.